Hello people, I'm the Comic Book Gamer, and today I'm going to be counting down my top 5 favorite Superman runs by a writer. Now this isn't a writer-artist duo or anything like that, this is just a writer, and yeah, I thought this would be a fun way to show you guys some of my favorite Superman runs and everything. Maybe if you guys have been looking forward to getting into Superman, here's some suggestions, and also, this is for for a good lengthy run and stuff, not just like say Grant Morrison's run, which was just All-Star Superman, that was it. I'm talking about good run, like the long run, because Grant Morrison's run was great, but it was just All-Star Superman. Anyways, let's get into it. Number 5 is James Robinson's run. Now, what James Robinson did was he wrote basically everything for New Krypton. If you don't know what New Krypton is, at the end of Superman Brainiacs, Superman takes Kandor, he finds a place to put them, and he resizes the he resizes Kandor. And so now, that's New Krypton. They got a society and everything, and with all that, obviously, Earth is afraid because you got tons of Superman up there, and that's not exactly too great what's going on, because, they could be planning to attack, who knows, so they're all afraid of each other, and it's just like tensions and everything, and then you have the dealings of New Krypton. Superman realizes that he has to go up there and watch them. He can't protect Earth right now because, this is the best way to protect Earth, because he doesn't know what's going on in New Krypton either, so he goes up there, and he gets integrated into their military, and Zod is the military leader. Zod becomes general, and Kara, who is, Supergirl, her mother is the leader of the planet. She's the leader of New Krypton. She's the one who decided to make Zod general, because she's, to bring him back as general, because she's like, hey, we need a new general. So anyways, a bunch of stuff happens. It's cool seeing Superman undercover. They even, solve some mysteries and stuff, and it's really cool. And another thing is, for people that don't like Superman has it too easy and stuff, he doesn't have anyone to fight. Well, now he's surrounded by Kryptonians. And then, there's different story arcs that happen throughout New Krypton. Like, you have the Last Stand of New Krypton, where Brainiac comes back, and you see how afraid these people are of Brainiac, because remember, Brainiac was the one who came and shrunk down Kandor and killed a lot of people and stuff, so these people are scared to death of him, and that's a really cool story arc, seeing Brainiac come back after Kandor, and then Lex Luthor gets involved and stuff, and then this leads into War of the Superman, which was written by James Robinson and Sterling Gates, and War of the Superman is to where, it's New Krypton versus Earth, and it's a really cool battle, because you get, tons of superheroes involved, the whole Superman family, and, everyone else, they're all just going after it, because, it's a ton of Superman. How are you going to fight them? It's really cool to see what goes down, and yeah, James Robinson just had a really cool run, and it did enjoy New Krypton. I thought it was pretty cool how everything was done. But yeah, that's number 5. Number 4 is Dan Jergens' run. Now, some of you guys may know him because he was the one who killed Superman. He was the one behind the death of Superman, and he created Doomsday, one of the coolest comic book villains ever. So he had a very impactful run. He wrote a lot of cool stuff, mainly Death of Superman, and Death of Superman really was great, and it was so tragic, and that was something that changed comics forever, because it's like, hey, that's the first superhero ever, and you're killing him. So, that showed that you can kill the big guns in comics. Even though he came back a year later, that's still showing that you can kill the big guns. Well, you can kill the biggest out of all of them. That's Superman. That's pretty big, and that's gutsy. And yeah, so Death Superman had a huge impact. He also wrote some other good stories. He helped write Panic in the Sky along with some other writers. He wrote the Doomsday Wars. He wrote Superman Hunter Prey. Superman Hunter Prey is a story where Doomsday goes and beats the living crap out of Darkseid, which is really cool. And the Doomsday Wars is where Brainiac took over Doomsday's body. Yes, he wrote a lot of stuff to deal with Doomsday, and it's generally his best work with Doomsday. And also right now, he's writing Lois and Clark, which is the pre-New 52 Superman in the New 52 universe, and from what I've read, which I've only read the first issue so far, I don't know if the second issue is out yet or not. If it is, I need to go get it, but anyway, it's been really good so far, and he really understands Superman. He wrote the Convergence tie-in for the New 52, which was really good as well. It was pre-New 52 Superman. He's a guy that generally gets Superman. He does have some off stuff that's kind of but he does do a good job generally for writing Superman. Number 3 are the men who started it all, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Without these guys, we would not have Superman. They deserve the number 1 spot, but I'm going not just purely on the fact that they created Superman, so that's why they're at number 3, because I'm going off stories and everything as well. I have the Superman Omnibus for these guys, which was, it's huge. It's got, most of the stories they wrote for Superman. It cost me $50. It's ginormous, and they got some pretty good stories in there. It's, before really just too many supervillains were around, so it's basically basically Superman fighting mobsters, but it's really cool to see, and I like seeing the reporter elements of Superman, and you see everything that's going on. And yeah, Superman also fought a lot of dark stuff back then as well, and the fact that Superman was very brutal. Like, he threatens to throw some dude like head first into a rock and stuff, and he threatens to do a lot of things that aren't too great, but they're definitely, it's like he makes Batman seem tame. The nowadays Batman, who when he interrogates people, like, that's nothing compared to what this Superman threatens people to do. And yeah, but it is Superman. It is still the core Superman, and he's got the great morals and everything. And yeah, I love. He actually never really does anything too bad. He just threatens to. And anyways, yeah, this is Superman in his in his prime, and it's great. And the classic art I love as well. It's really cool being able to see that. But yeah, it's just an overall great run, and it's Superman. These guys created Superman. No one understands Superman better than these guys do. Number 2 is John Byrne's run. John Byrne basically decided to do a run on Superman that was a day in the life of Superman. Well, first off, John Byrne was tasked with recreating Superman, because they're like, hey, this was after the Silver Age, because Superman got to this point where he's so powerful he can do basically whatever, and they're like, hey, we need to reboot him, make him not so powerful and stuff. And so they went to John Byrne, and John Byrne's like, okay. And he took on the task, and he made a great Superman book. He had to remake Superman, and it's fantastic. And it really is a day in the life of Superman. You just see him when he goes through day in and day out. There's not too many, like, complicated story arcs or anything in these books to where it's like, okay, it's an ongoing story, this, and this. No, it's generally just, here's the day in the life of Superman. There are some really great story arcs in there, but it's basically, like I was saying, a day in the life of Superman. You just see what he does day in and day out. It's really cool, and he's got a great run. It went for, like, 8 volumes or something like that. It went for a while because it was so good, and yeah, I really enjoy it. It's my second favorite run on Superman. I love it. But yeah, that's number 2. Number 1 is Jeff Johns. Now, if you guys have watched any of my prior Superman videos, and you probably already knew this because I always mention how Jeff Johns had my favorite run on Superman, and that's because the guy just gets Superman. He knows how to write Superman. It's fantastic. I love all his work on Superman. He wrote my favorite Superman book of all time, which is Superman Up, Up, and Away. It actually features probably the least amount of Superman of all the books he wrote, and it's fantastic. Basically, what happens is, it's after Infinite Crisis, to where Superman fought Superboy Prime, and they flew through a red sun and a bunch of kryptonite meteors and stuff, and so Superman lost his powers, and so we see him trying to help the world in a different way when he's when he's not Superman, and he gets offered a Green Lantern ring along the way, and then he starts regaining his powers during the story arc and stuff. We see him and Lois. It's just great. It's Superman, and I love it. I get a different feeling when reading that book than when I read any other book, and that's why it's my favorite, because it's just Superman. But he's also done a ton of other great books. It's not just Superman Up, Up, and Away. For instance, Superman Legion of Superheroes is another one of my favorites, and the dialogue in all of his books are great, for instance. And Superman Legion of Superheroes, Superman's fighting this guy named Earthman, and Earthman's this guy who's basically future Hitler. Legion of Superheroes, by the way, is in the 31st century, so yeah, long time in the future, and he's basically this new Hitler, and he contorts, like, what Superman was. He's like, hey, since Superman was so far back in the past, he's like, Superman was this guy that only liked humans, he hated aliens, and they're trying to convince people that he wasn't from Krypton, and that all that stuff was fake, and that he was actually a human, and so he basically does all this bad stuff in Superman's name. So Superman, when he comes to the future, fights him, because obviously he has a problem with that, and when he's fighting him, this Superman's saving these aliens, and this guard tries to shoot at the people, and Superman deflects his shot, but anyways, the guy's like, that's not Superman, that's a fake Superman. Superman wouldn't help aliens, he's for human rights only, he's for us. And then Superman looks at him and says, I'm for everyone, and you should know that, officer. I was like, oh dang. And then later, when he's fighting the guy, Earthman has the powers of taking other people's powers, so anyways, when he's sort of like a Mazo, but an actual person. Anyways, when he's fighting this guy, Earthman says, I need this more than you, Superman. You were never rejected. You were never an outsider. And Superman's just sitting there. He's like, don't talk to like you know me. You don't. And then just knocks him straight out with one punch and says, I've been an outsider every day of my life. And I was like, oh, dang, that's great. But he also wrote, like, Superman Last Son, which is a story of Zod's son that got lost, that Superman was able to find, and he sort of adopts him with him and Lois, and then at the end stuff happens, and it's kind of a sad book, but it's great as well. You see what Superman would be like with a son, because, Superman wasn't able to because he's Kryptonian and Lois is human, they weren't able to have kids, so they saw what it would be like to have a kid, and it was like, it's really cool seeing stuff like that happen because it's something we'd never seen before, and I just really loved it. But anyways, the point is, Jeff Johns has wrote tons of great Superman story arcs. I really wish he would write more Superman. But anyways, from what he has written, it's all great. I love it, and I highly suggest you guys check out all the Jeff Johns Superman books. You may be a little lost if you don't know some stuff, but they are fantastic and just, they're great. I love them. They're amazing. Anyways, please let me know in the comments below, what are some of your guys' favorite Superman runs? Not writers, but runs. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like.